Westerman always signed his pieces with the anchor. So personal iconography for an artist is really important, but transcendence into iconography, which is past the self, is a much higher calling. This is where I started to work with ready-mades again, like the lobster hanging before. This is a ready-made a ladder, and then I use an inflatable and molded it, a ready-made. This is Caterpillar ladder. It's like Duchamp's Nude Descending the Staircase, and Bala's little dog with the feet going like this kind of morphed together. This is a new painting called Monkey Train. In silver paint, where you see kind of this gray, it's silver reflective aluminum paint. I have a train meeting a horse and buggy, and it's flipped like a Warhol, then coming the opposite direction. And it's showing an image of one technology replacing another one. And today, both those technologies are nostalgic. And so the monkey's face really becomes a mirror of the viewer, and puts us in contact with our own mortality. Makes a reference to Darwinism, and I also think it's very Dada because it makes a reference to Paccabia's portrait of Cézanne. And that portrait of Cézanne goes on, portrait of Renoir, portrait of Rembrandt, and it's just like everybody, the viewer, it's their portrait. This is a new painting called Hawk Elvis. So just like I did a feminine Elvis, this is a masculine Elvis. And where we see the gray, that's a reflective silver. And if you could see the space that the hawk and those dots are inside of, it's actually Led Zeppelin. It's Robert Plant's legs spread over on this far side over there. And Jimmy Page is over on this side with his guitar. A little bit of it almost looks like sperm on his eye is the tip of Jimmy Page's guitar. That's a Hawk Elvis. This is a triple Hawk Elvis. And this triple Hawk Elvis has these little kind of monstrous heads in there. And they remind me of subjective art like Peter Saul or, art that's really about the self. And I think that, we all, have this aspect of the subjective. And as artists and viewers, understanders of art involved in this vocabulary, you have to accept the self, or even if you're not involved in art, in anything, but you have to be able to accept the self and accept the little monsters that are within you for this transcendence, to be able to expand your parameters. And so those little monsters are just a symbol of that, kind of walking the talk again. This is a new painting called Landscape Waterfall. And that little kind of silver line drawing I like to think of as like a man walking his dog in the Swiss Alps. But it's really like a drawing like the origins of the world. And then there's a swish there. My son Kurt, who's only 3, made that. And it's just such a beautiful swish, so I put that in there. And then the dots, it makes up, it's from a filter, makes up this waterfall that's from Thailand. And so it's a painting which is just, I think, I wanted to introduce into this body of work that's slightly kind of more feminine than some of the hawks, because that's kind of like a high testosterone type images, and these are a little more feminized. This is a tree from Central Park that I photographed, put in a pattern, and then puts in kind of like Twombly type gestures into it. And then the yellow line drawing there, down below at the bottom, you can see kind of 2 rounded shapes. They're 2 rocks, and there's some roots down at the bottom and a tree trunk going up the center, and then the foliage wraps around it. It reminds me of that painting that we looked at earlier from Made in Heaven. The rocks and the tree trunk and the foliage wrapped around. And this is one of the new sculptures I'm working on. I'm working on other sculptures too, but this is called The Dictator. And the Dictator's mortar cannon, Civil War cannon from 1862. and it was the biggest mortar cannon used. And this cannon really terrorized everybody. It shoots a 13-inch cannonball with holes in it, so it makes tremendous amount of noise. And the cannonball goes 2.5 miles. And so it's a working cannon, and creating every aspect of the dictator exactly the way it was. It's been lost, but it'll weigh the exact same amount, 17,198 pounds, and everything about it will be authentic. And it's just a very, very visceral image to be around. And you can look at it, it can have some sense of castration, or it can just be kind of very powerful. That's one image. Another image that I'll show with this work we're looking at is the Liberty Bell. Recreating an exact replica of the Liberty Bell, which is a more kind of, has masculine and feminine aspects to it, but tends to be a little more feminine, like Dali's Alice in Wonderland.